Hi, Heidi. Hi, Joan. I'm doing good, thanks, Heidi. Hope you are too. Hi, Patrice. Hi, Marjorie. Hi, Carla. Hi, Samantha. I'm doing good. Hi, Mary. So, hi, Dana. But I'm not doing free readings. I'm doing those on Sundays when I'm doing those live. I'm just here to answer regular questions about spiritual stuff or paranormal stuff, whatever people have questions about. Because when I do my um, free readings, sometimes people ask me that, and I don't have that time to really stop and answer them. So I do this. I try to do this once a week for them. Thanks, Marjorie. Hi, Heidi. Appreciate it. No, it's okay, Dana. It's okay. Hi, TJ Wells. I wonder what happened to you. What happened to me? It's interesting. Samantha is asking, how do you find out who your spirit guide is? There's different ways, Samantha. You can go to a medium and ask a medium or a psychic, and they can help you with that. It's probably the easiest way. I personally don't like to give out spirit guides' names or angels' names because once that's put out there and you start calling them or talking to them with that name, if there's a malevolent spirit or dark entity around, they'll pretend to be that, and sometimes they'll give you bad luck. So I choose not to. Other mediums can. I just don't. There's other ways, Samantha, is you can a lot of meditating. This one takes some time, but you got to trust in what your gut and what the message is given to you. When you go into meditation, ask the spirit to guide to show themselves to you, or ask them their name. And if the first name you get or the first vision you get, that's going to be your probably more likely your spirit guide. Hi, Joanne. My God. So I do believe that. Hi, Lucero. Hi, Eunice. Hi, Samantha. But they'll tell me that they've met Jesus. So one day I'm gonna write a book about it. What spirits tell me. Hi, Carla. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Lucero. Dana's saying, when you see people in your dreams, are they really there? I believe they are. To me, when I see loved ones come through, and it's something of a positive nature. I would probably say it's more like a visit than it is a dream. There have been times where I do dream of loved ones, but it's a dream. You can tell the difference just because of the weird stuff in a dream that doesn't make any sense. But a visit from a loved one, that is usually happens right before we wake up in the morning, and the loved one's usually smiling. Sometimes they don't give you messages because I think that they're afraid to say something and then you might hear it differently and get confused. And that's happened in some of my readings. And then it turns out to be another message that they were trying to relay. And just having them smile at you is should be right there to tell you that they're on the other side and that they're okay. They're just trying to let you know they're okay. And nightmares. I always tell people nightmares usually happen at night. Like that in the morning when we wake up. Well, I didn't. That's cool that you had a near-death experience, calming soul. I believe that. I know. So I've had people assume just because I'm a medium that I can have a normal conversation with God. I don't think I can. I'm just human like everybody else. I pray a lot and hope that my messages go to Him. But I don't think of myself as like I have some kind of higher authority or any power that's going to connect me directly to His line. So I'm not that kind of person. If you want, God's the kind of person. If He wants to connect with you, He will. It's not our will. But you can hear her calling you, but I can't find her. What's that mean? Heidi, I would probably say if that film is over your mom's face, that may mean I'm looking at it this way. I'm not doing a reading, but I'm assuming what that would mean is that you may be still in mourning, and maybe you're not ready to see her yet. If that makes sense. Sometimes, and I've said this a million times, when we're in mourning, it's like going through tunnel vision. Spirits all around us are trying to let us know we're okay, that they're okay, but we're not seeing it, even in dreams. So that's what I would assume that I wouldn't see. I don't think that's anything negative. Just saying that you're not ready yet. Hi, Angelic. Hi, Ellen. Yeah, it's. I don't know what happened to you, TJ Wells. So, Andrea, if your soulmate's been gone 8 years and you haven't got any dreams of him yet, I would suggest this. I mean, it's hard to say. Like I said, I'm not there to do a reading. Some souls don't cross over for reasons. I don't know why. There's so many different reasons. That could be one thing. Another thing is because maybe he has come into your dreams and you don't remember it. I would if he has crossed over, I would ask him say his full name every night and ask him to come visit you. You may have to do it several times. It might take weeks, might take months. Whenever he comes to visit you, he eventually will. But if he hasn't crossed over, he probably can't visit you. If that makes sense to you. Hi Juanita. Hi Heidi. Let's see. So Sarah's asking, do I know Amy Allen? I don't know her personally, but my uncle in Great Falls, Montana, was a co-producer when they did that video. I mean, did a series on her, and there was one with called the I'm trying to remember the show. It was called in Great Falls. It was the Paris Gibson House. And anyway, my uncle told me that when he picked her up at the Amy Allen up at the airport, that she's a chain smoker, but she's very nice. She's very accurate in what she does. Um, every medium, I mean, you can put like five or six mediums in one room. We're not going to be the same. Each one of us is going to have a different ability. We will see something or hear something, but it's always going to be the same answer, if that makes sense, the same message. The right page. So, Amy Allen, she's very accurate, and I've seen her, and she's legit. I know she is. The Long Island medium, she's legit as well. John Edwards is legit. I mean, I mean, I would say the ones who get on TV that big are legit because there's no other reason why they could be on TV unless they got some kind of ability. But I do believe Amy Allen's got a really good. She works with a lot of I'm trying what they're called. Spirit guides that are connected with in that kind of field, and that's what she gets to all of her answers. So she's really accurate in what she does. If I've seen shadows and no and nobody's around, could that be a loved one? It could be Ellen. Sometimes I don't really trust a lot of shadows. I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, usually when spirits cross come down to visit, I've had that happen with readings that sometimes people will see from their side of their eye, their loved one, but they're not sure. But then the reading will validate that's what they saw. It's hard to say. If you're seeing shadows in your house, I would be worried if you have to keep seeing the shadows in your house and you're getting anxiety, you're getting fear, you're getting feelings of doom. You know, that's something I would be worried about because to me that would either be considered demonic or it could be a sociopath that never crossed over that's trying to feed off of your energy. So um, just be careful with that. So Mary B, if you're hearing a spirit whisper in your ear, I would say that spirit is a an earthbound spirit. Spirits that cross over to the light don't whisper in your ear. Those are the kind of spirits that are trying to cause you fear, cause you confusion, that want to feed off of your of that negativity that's coming out. So I would be kind of worried about that. It's usually earthbound spirits too that do that. Hi, Dirty Bird 25. Um, Dana's asking what stops the soul from crossing over? Free will. That's the majority of it. Um, because every God gives us all free will on this earth, even as spirits. Just because we're in human form doesn't mean that we don't have free will. We have the free will of going into the light or going where we're supposed to go, or we can be earthbound and attach ourselves to objects or people here. And somebody coming from the light telling them to get in the light, and they're always told not to trust adults, so then they get lost. So it's hard to say. I would probably that's my biggest guess on that is free will. So Ada, if there's electronics going crazy around you, that I'm almost sure that's your husband. That's a sign he's just trying to let you know he's around. They use a lot of electronics a lot of times and lights. Let us know. Patricia, if you're falling asleep and you heard a voice come to you like that, could be that spirit just saying that he was with you at that moment. Hi Eunice, thank you. Earthbound spirits are, I would say, I mean, evil or dangerous, and I'll tell you, the house is haunted with this old lady in it, and she might have died of a cancer or something wrong with her. So if that's the case, you're living in that house, that energy, your body's picking up on that, especially if you're an empath. I've done a lot of readings with people where and they're like, oh, that's spirits in the house. He ain't gonna do anything. Well, then the reading will tell me that person has a lot of, a lot of health problems inside and stuff. It's weird stuff going on they never had until later on when they moved in that house. And I'll say, you realize you're absorbing everything that that spirit had before they died. That's called the death state. That death state means they didn't cross over. When you cross over, everything gets renewed. When you're not crossed over, that energy is stagnant. And that spirit might be a nice spirit, not bothering you, but she needs to go. She's not supposed to be here. Um, I do try to cross the spirit over, but if they don't want to, I can't force them. And I'll ask the person in the house if they're okay with it. And if they're okay with it, that's fine. I don't I can't force anybody into the light if they don't want to go. It's all free will. I don't know what's going on with my internet connection. It starts like this all the time, and I don't know why. It'll probably fix itself later. Do I believe astrology aligns with Christianity? I do. Um, yeah, I do. I mean, I look at it this way with astrology, like when Jesus was born, weren't those wise men kind of like astrologers? Didn't they read the stars? And that's how they knew that there was going to be a coming of Christ. I mean, there's stuff in that Bible I can always look at that just validates what people tell us not to believe anyways. But that's how I look at it. I don't think I never felt astrology being negative. is my opinion. I mean, I think it helps quite a bit of people. Kathleen's asking, do people have any inkling when they are near death or they will be? I'm going to tell you a story really quick, my own experience. And it happened from two different people that I cared about. And I hope I don't get choked up about it. But anyway, um, he was a military police in Great Falls, Montana, and I lived in Billings. And that's about, I don't remember, 250 miles away or something. Anyway, when he was at my house, he was just smiling a lot. Well, I asked my roommate at the time, I'm like, well, something's going on with, with him. Why is he always smiling? He goes, I'm seeing that too. I don't get it. Well, a lot of people don't. Well, he woke me up, I think, at 4 in the morning because he asked me, he goes, which road do I take back to Great Falls? Two-lane highway or the regular highway? And I said, you take the one you came back on. That's the fastest one. And he goes, okay. So he said goodbye. Well, I went to work and my stomach started hurting and I didn't understand what was going on. I had to leave early. And back then, like I think it was like 2000 or 2001, we didn't have the phones like this. We can go on our phones to check our emails. So it just kept my stomach kept rolling. I'm like, what is going on? So I couldn't rest. So I was urged to get on the computer and check my email. Well, his roommate, she messaged me and said he got in a terrible accident and he died. Yeah, that was really tragic. But for a long time, I felt that guilt that people get on here from, survive, when their loved ones die, that you're always feeling guilty. You wish you could have said something, did something, all that. And I was going through therapy with that. Um, I thought I was over that, but anyway, he was he had that smile on his face, and I always wondered about that. And then it took me a long time to understand that he committed suicide, but he was at peace with himself. That's what that was about. I thought it was an accident, but I thought he fell asleep at the wheel. But he would tell my other friends later on down the road that he wanted to commit suicide, and that and that was hard for me because I'm like, why me? Why was I the last one? But I realized there's probably reasons in my past where I had to learn certain situations to help people with readings. Anyway, now I'll go back to my mom. My mom, she died when she was, I think, 56. She's kind of young. She had diabetes complications, and I remember that last Christmas, I saw her. That was about maybe 10, no, 12 years ago. The last Christmas I saw my mom, um, she was smiling that same smile, but it looked familiar from what my friend AC died. I mean, we call him RC, AC died of, but my brother, I said, why, she's smiling a lot. I mean, what's going on with her? And he goes, there's nothing going on with her. She's just happy. I go, I've never seen her that she's got a peaceful smile. Well, I said my goodbyes to her. It was hard for me to say goodbye to your mom, but I came back, and the weird thing was, her husband, I've known since the third grade, died because he had complications when he was in the war, and I think it was alcohol. And then she died within less than 24 hours of that death, and that really got to me. It was the last time I saw her. So I do believe sometimes people know. I think God puts maybe some kind of peace over them because that smile in person. I don't see people smile like that. It's like a constant peaceful smile. So I do believe that. I'm not sure what that means, Ellen. Is there times when your voice is way ahead of your mouth and moving, but no words are coming out like they did in the old movies? I wonder if that's in a dream. I'm not sure. I don't think I've had that happen. I might have, but I don't know. Thanks, Marjorie. Hi, Ellen. Yeah, I like telling stories about my own stories, like my own past, so people would understand it. I mean, there's a lot of things in this world that I don't know if I even have answers for, but I can try to answer a lot of the best I can. Oh, so it must be sorry, Heidi. It must be an internet connection because I don't know. what's going on with this. Maybe it's a slow internet connection. I don't know why my mouth is not going with my words. It's all I can assume is an internet connection. Melanie saying, "Do people who commit suicide have a hard time crossing over?" And that's hard to say, Melanie. Um, Only because I said it's about free will. I've done readings where some people. I mean, there's a guy that committed suicide because he had AIDS. He got AIDS in the 80s, and he was afraid of getting judged by God. I've crossed spirits over who were teenagers that couldn't had a hard time growing up. I mean, growing in their household, and the only way to escape was commit suicide, and they didn't know what to do. Um, and then they're afraid of, yeah. And I mean, there's just so many different situations why somebody would have a hard time crossing over. I just feel like sometimes it's a lot of it's guilt. Sometimes it's because somebody wants revenge because their loved one, because I'm sorry, they want revenge because they were murdered horrifically. Now, Sharon Tate's spirit, she comes to my mind on this one. Now, when she got, the whole, remember the whole Charlie Manson murders in California, that story. Now, when she passed away, her spirit still resides up on that hill. There's a new place that's been built up there, and I guess that they keep getting hauntings. And I was watching a video about it, and her spirit keeps showing up there. And when her spirit shows herself, it shows herself in that same white nightgown, and she's just got that pregnant belly. So she died that way because she never crossed over because she was angry. She had a beautiful everything going for her. She was like the Marilyn Monroe during that time. Very beautiful lady, and she had everything going for her. But unfortunately, that happened, and she was angry. She was angry because she wanted to have that perfect life with her baby and everything, but it didn't happen that way. So her spirit still resides up on that hill. I think she wants, she's not rested. She wants revenge, or she wants to know what happened to her. Maybe a medium never talked to her and let her know what happened. She probably doesn't know about who Charlie Manson is. She just know that she was murdered. She doesn't know why. I'm assuming. She, I just wish that there would be somebody that was a good medium that can cross those kind of people over. Now, when she comes to the people, when she's pregnant like that, that doesn't mean that baby is still stuck in her. That baby's soul might have been went to heaven. I'm almost sure of it. But she just comes that way because she's stuck in that death state. Yeah, if you're working in a nursing, if you're a CNA and you're working a nurse or a nurse, you probably see a lot of stuff, especially at night. That's when they usually come out. Yeah, you just be careful with that stuff. Protect yourself. Always ask God to protect you. You don't want that stuff following you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my connection, you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know. Marjorie, if a spirit is confused about how to cross over, that's because that means that they're lost. They don't understand. They're probably always taught that when you die, you either go to heaven or hell. They probably didn't know that you have that free will you can cross over. There's a lot of reasons why people get confused why they don't cross over. Sometimes a tragic accident so bad, so horrific, can confuse somebody that they don't know they're dead right away. There's so many different reasons. Steven saying, hi, Steven, by the way, can someone trying to do evil intentions is what I mean. Can our spirit guide or our past over loved ones protect us from evil presence? Yes, in fact, they do. I did a reading last week. I don't ever give people's names on here, but I did a reading on a girl at Barjan's book. She was sitting across from me, and the first time she came to me, I looked at her and I said, "There's a guy that follows you and he wears a white shirt." She goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Do you feel like you're being watched?" And she goes, "I don't think so." And her spirit guide was adamant about it. And I go, "I'm just telling you, this is what I'm getting. Maybe you're not sensitive, you don't see it, but I'm getting it." And I go, "Where you were around a place that was haunted?" And she goes, "I don't think I was." And I go, "I'm just letting you know this is what I'm getting." Well, she went home that night and she saw a spirit of a man in a white shirt yelling at her, like right in her face. So she got up and then she realized that she went to an old prison here in Montana. It was the Deer Lodge prison and it's haunted. And when she went there, that spirit followed her. And I told her that spirit followed her because, in his words, you reminded him of his old lady, his girlfriend. And so he's a creeper. He's not attached to you, but he follows you. So when she came in, he would always stand outside of the store. He wouldn't come in because he knew I was going to blast him and call him out on his crap. But I told her what she needed to do, and her mom came through when she was at home and she was trying to get and she was cleansing her house, and her mom came through and kicked him out. I mean, she was an Italian lady. She really told him what was up, and he won't come back again. That's what the spirit told me. And she goes, "That's my mom. That's exactly what she would do." So yes, our ancestors, if we call on them, do help us. Our angels will help us. Spirit guides are mainly just messengers. They're the ones that nudge us. They don't really come down and protect us. So it's usually our ancestors and angels and God that help us through all that stuff. Mary, I don't know what's going on in your house 'cause I'm not doing a reading. If you're hearing silverware move knocking on the door, it could be either a poltergeist or it could be a spirit trying to scare you to feed off of your energy. If I were you, try to smudge your house. If you have holy water, if you're a Catholic or not, you don't have to be a Catholic. Go and spray some of that holy water and tell it to get out. It's not allowed. It's not, if it's making you scared, it's got to go. Yes, Patricia, that's called boundaries. If your mom told you when you leave work, you tell those spirits not to follow you, they're not welcome. It's all about boundaries. Even I have to learn that as a medium. So, also just make sure you smudge your house at least once a month or smudge yourself once in a while. You just make sure you never know. Yeah, Patricia, I'm part Cree as well. I'm sorry about your brother found dead in the prison cell. I don't know, Mary, if he committed suicide or if he was murdered. I don't know until I connect with him. I'm not doing readings right now, but I'm sorry about that. I'd have to connect with his spirit to find out what happened to him. Only he could tell me. So, hi Samantha. She's saying, I always heard that a spirit can attach itself to an antique and come to your home is with that piece. Is that true? Now I'm going to tell you a story here. This is a true story. This happened to me a few years ago. I went to a Goodwill store and I was bored and I decided to go in there. Well, there was these pyramids and they had hieroglyphics on all the sides and they were black. And I'm not into that stuff, but I just kept getting drawn to it. And I'm like, well, but I wasn't thinking about it. I just kept getting drawn to it. So I grabbed it and I bought it. Well, I put it in my house and just set it up there, display it. And all of a sudden I was watching TV and I kept looking at him. And it's almost like, and I realized why I'm doing that is when, usually when there's a spirit around, that's what gives that I'm getting drawn to it. Well, I'm like, why? So I was driving me nuts. So I connected with my spirit guide and I said, what's going on with this? And he said, those got an evil attachment. They were using a black ritual, black witchcraft. You need to put him in salt, put him in a bag, you put him in salt and bury him somewhere far away, out in the woods or somewhere. Well, me and my friend ended up doing that, but um, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. In fact, my spirit guide told me that at any moment, those evil spirits that were residing in those objects would have came out and caused problems with me later on. And it probably would have really messed with me to this day if I didn't pick up on it right away. But I think somebody told me that it was meant for me to find those so nobody else would get them to be haunted and have bad luck with them. So maybe it was a good thing in disguise. But I did bury them with salt like I was told to, and that's why they stayed. You're welcome, Stephen. Hi, Marjorie. Hi, Caroline. Or Carolyn, sorry. Hi, Caroline. Um, Carolyn, if you want to know if your dog or who Max is, your cat or your dog is okay, try to meditate and keep your mind closed. I mean, keep your mind quiet if you can do this, and then just ask the question: is my dog Max okay? Now, feel what the message is coming. Just feel it. If you're not getting it verbally in your head, feel it. You're gonna get your answer. I believe that. Marjorie, all animals do cross over. I do believe that because I've heard animals People say that, they've had, muddy footprints in the kitchen after their dog has died. I've heard people say that, you always know your dog or your cat's meow or bark. It's different from the neighbor's bark. And sometimes people can hear it and it's faint. I've heard people have seen, animals lay on their bed, like the impression. I do believe that. And then they rub up against people's legs too. I've heard that too. Um, well, I did a reading on that one time, and my spirit guide said that everything that God created that was alive gets, if it dies, it gets recycled and comes back down again. But when we die, and say our pets died first and we died, they're going to be with us in heaven for a while. But eventually, I don't know God's will. Maybe He will let us have them up there, or maybe He'll recycle that pet back. Now, when you look at birds, for instance, or fish, whatever, with the word instinct, it comes to mind. Like they just automatically know. Well, how does an animal know that? Unless they've lived a life before that. So how does a bird know how to make a nest? How does a bird know how to feed their babies or whatever they're doing? It's because when they die, they get recycled again. It's kind of like reincarnation. They have a moment in heaven and then they come back down. I believe that. And even if like the weed that we step on and or we pull out of the ground, that's going to be in heaven. There's no such thing as bad weeds and bad even the Native Americans believed that there was no such thing as weeds. That was a man did that later on in life. Some of those things that were grown in our backyard could be used as medical purposes to help other people that we don't know about. It's not, Dana, it's not dangerous to buy antiques or old items. I would say if you touch something or if you get a weird vibe from it, don't do it. But if you bring something home and you keep looking at it or you get a weird vibe from it, put it in salt and then go bury it. Don't give it away. Don't throw it away. Don't burn it, especially you burn it, it can release something. So MI said that she was told that she has a room in which is a teleport for souls to cross through. Is that possible? Yes. Only because I mean that means somebody prior before you lived there was probably opening up a portal, and you need a medium or a psychic in there to close those. And and I've done that before, and it's very very draining. It's because you have to really look into where that portal's at. And what I use is I use the pendulum until I find it, and then I start focusing psychically. And if I see it, then I have to imagine myself sewing it up, and it's very very draining because it's energy. When I sew it up, and then I put salt on it and holy water on it, and then I leave it. So you got to find some medium that knows how to close portals. That probably was something you need. Hi, Alma. Thanks for visiting from Kansas. So, Patrice, everybody's got a gift. I believe everybody's born to as psychic. Some people are more their psychic abilities are more intense and stronger than others. Not everybody's born to be a medium. I know some people take courses on it, and when they take the course, sometimes it's a very long course that they take, and a lot of people that are not mediums want to be mediums, and they struggle with that. I've seen that quite a bit. The ones who are born with this gift seem to do. I mean, it just comes out naturally. So I would say, if you have the gift, you would know you had the gift because as a little kid, you had probably seen a lot of dead people. A lot of dead people try to communicate with you, especially bothering you at night. You heard voices in your ears, in your head. You've seen things you can't explain. You hear things you can't explain. And after a while, it becomes normal. But then when you tell everybody, they think you're a nutcase, so you suppress it and you become more anxious all the time because you're a natural empath and you're absorbing everything. So yeah, it all works together. But you'll know if you've had it, and if you have it, then I would say just if you learn to find a way of working with it. If there's a medium that has free time that can train you to use it, then that's fine. Or go take a spiritual development course like I did and get certified in it because that separates me from the fakes and the people, the wannabes, and people that make up stuff. Yeah, and Samantha's saying her health went poor when she brought an antique piece home. Um, and that's again where I was talking about earlier. There's a spiritual attachment to that death state. That person had health problems, and you're absorbing. that energy, not knowing it, but you're absorbing that energy that wasn't within that piece. And even people that bring home evil things and not knowing it, like for instance, when I brought those what do you call those pyramids home, I didn't, and it was evil. Who knows if I would have been absorbing that evil within me as well if I would have kept it longer. It's kind of a scary thing. They were saying her sister had two cats that passed away a few months apart. Then her husband discovered he had cancer. I'm sorry, passed a year later. Is there a connection? I wouldn't say though. I don't think that's a connection, Mary. I think that's just God has a way of doing stuff, and I don't know his ways. Everybody's got a path. Everybody's got a time. Um, I don't believe it's something like, where, somebody's cursed like that. I don't believe that. That's not how it usually works. Melanie's saying, I know someone who was on hard drugs and they became someone else evil. Do you believe drugs have a spirit attachment to it? Absolutely. Now, here's an example. Have you ever guys ever seen somebody like on videos or like on the street on meth? Now watch them. You can tell there's something dark or demonic in them. They'll fall asleep standing up. I mean, they're in a deep sleep, but they're standing up. They'll just their behavior. It's not. It's and they want to hurt somebody. It's almost like the drive of like, hurting somebody. It's really crazy. I did do a reading on it. It said that meth is the gateway of being possessed, and it is because they're over all these I mean, over hundreds of years ago. There's, I mean, maybe longer, but there's always been addictions going on, and so there's these spirits that are so desperate to jump into somebody to get that fix again, and they'll jump into somebody to get that fix, and they'll control them, and that's whether it be demonic or an evil spirit, that's what they'll do, and it's just it's creepy. And I think anybody that's known anybody on meth or anybody that's seen people on this drug will understand that. I've seen kids on this stuff coming into my jail when I used to work at the jail, and it was scary when they were on it. And it took them like weeks for them to usually get off of it, like a week or two, or days to just be sleeping it off. And I'd rather have them sleep it off than have them deal with them when they're awake, being all crazy. It's sad. You're welcome, Patricia. So, Michelle, I'm not doing readings right now. I do those on Sundays. Marjorie, I don't know what's going on. Maybe that might be your connection. I know mine was a little bit slow earlier too. Thanks, Samantha. Thanks, Michelle. Hi, Pamela. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the internet connection right now. I don't know. It could be my internet. I don't know. You're welcome, Mary. Thanks, Kathleen. Yeah, Chief Big Bear was my great grandfather. Yeah, they did a movie on him. A lot of books written about him. There was a series that was an interesting series, and it's sad what they did to those people. TJ Wells is at a college class, New Testament. The professor said that people with mental illness have more paranormal experiences. I believe that, and I'll tell you why. TJ, not all people with mental illness have paranormal experiences, but a lot of people who have mental illness, they're more open. I don't know what it is, but there's something about their soul or their body that seems to be more open, and they're able. And unfortunately, those kind of people end up getting bothered a lot by evil spirits that like to tell them to commit suicide or hurt people, especially people with schizophrenia. Um, it's really sad. The shaman, I was reading something about shamans. Shaman love people with schizophrenia because they can actually treat them the way they're supposed to be treated. And they work with them spiritually. They don't work with them like the way the doctors would work with them with medicine. Because they know these people are gifted and their radar is even like stronger than mine. It's like it goes way out there. And so they're picking up everything. And they'll teach those people how to protect themselves and help other people and how to control it. So shamans, they love people with schizophrenia. They can help them quite a bit. So I do believe that. Um, even I mean, normal people always have paranormal experiences, but I think more people with mental illness are more susceptible because there's something open about it. Patricia, good for you that you quit that you with your sobriety. Good job. But if you're getting those dreams and stuff, and you're hearing voices, smudge yourself, smudge your bed, and your whole house. Hi, Janine. I'm good. Hope you're doing having a good day too. Hi, Pamela. Pamela's saying everybody's having problems with the internet the last few days. Spectrum and Straight Talk. Yes, evil does. Addictions, people can be, it doesn't even have to be drugs that people are addicted to. They could be addicted to sex. Get your sex addicts, and then you have your people. I've had people I've done readings for over the phone that are addicted to their Ouija boards. I mean, really, they have to have that fix every day. They have to talk to that spirit in that Ouija board. And the spirit will tell me that, and that's how I know it's evil. And I'll tell him that. I go, when you're addicted, you're snared in. That's how you're snared. And he goes, well, how do I get rid of it? And I'll explain to him what he has to do, but he won't do it. And the spirit will tell me, the spirit guide will say he won't get rid of it. And I'll be real with him. I go, then you're wasting my time because I know you're not going to get rid of that. And now you're going to have bad luck and supernatural things happen around you, and I can't help you. And it's sad. It's scary and sad. So yeah, the devil has different ways he can snare people in. I do this kind of work. I'm not addicted to it. That's just part of who I am. I mean, I'm always praying. People know me. I'm praying in my head. I'm praying all the time. But I don't work with earthbound spirits unless I'm crossing them over. I don't connect with lower realm spirits down there. I won't do any of that stuff. I don't need it in my life. If I did, my readings would be really messed up, and I would it's not even worth it. Hi, Janine. Hi, Joyce. Heidi, I am Sicilian. I am Chippewa Cree from Canada. Um, and then I'm also part English. Marjorie, she said she had depression and she's been able to have paranormal experiences. She's astral projected twice. Ellen, I do believe in the Ouija board. The Ouija board is my opinion is no good. That's just my opinion. I think when it was created to snare young kids in to something dark with evil spirits. That's my opinion. Um, if you ever see any story about a Ouija board, you never rarely any hear anything ever good come out of a Ouija board ever. And that's you bring a kid brings in a Ouija board in the house and they're playing it by themselves or with their friends and they don't know what they're doing. That board is going to open up portals within that house. That's just like people having a séance in your house without a real trained medium. You're opening up something, and you're going to have problems. And these things can follow you around. They can burn your. I've heard stories of them burning their own house, people's houses down. It's just it's crazy. Again, you never want to burn these things. You never want to throw them in the garbage. You want to take them to the mountains and bury them with a lot of salt. That's all you can do, and just leave it there. So the way you're going to get rid of it. Shirley. So Samantha's saying she's got a feeling deep inside that something big is going to happen in this country. Samantha, like in the 60s, I took a course in this, a class about this 1960s, and it was interesting because it was a time of rebirth. Everything was changing. You had new technology, style was changing, music was changing. Man walked on the moon. Everything was changing, and during that time frame, that time frame, and it was for a reason. I believe in this time we're kind of facing that. That's my opinion and in my readings, because right now we're all faced to have to face each other, or face our own, who we are. That's why we're stuck in our houses with this virus. That's why police are, the bad police are getting held more accountable. Even people in the politics are going to be more accountable. And the reason why there's a lot of race riots going on, and I don't want to make this political, please don't, is because I think these people, my reading told me these people are just so tired of being told, this ain't happening, turning their, blind eye, turning their cheek. So this is what's going on. They get tired, and this is their way of trying to wake people up. And it will stop. It will stop. When there is a reform that's going to be done in this country, especially with the police, this is going to stop. It's just the police just got to get retrained again, more training, maybe, and also have video cameras on them as well, so that will protect them as well as the person that might be accusing them or whatever. That it's all about just training is all it is, and that's what we need. And I'm not trying to make it political. Please don't make it that way. But right now, we're forced to all look within ourselves right now. This is a new time. It's a new chapter in this life that it's something's big. Yeah, it's something big's going to keep happening because this generation, I think it's been 50 years since the 60s or something. But right now, we're moving into that. We're moving back into that again. New things are changing. And some people will get scared and say, well, this feels like it's the end of the world. This feels like, it does. It's scary. I'll admit it's scary. And I don't know when the end of the world is. But, if we don't figure stuff out, and start being good to each other and stop being mean to each other and being racist stuff and being rude and narcissistic and thinking of ourselves, it's gonna keep going. It's up to us as this whole world, that we got to stop this. But if we don't, but eventually it's gonna stop. It's not forever, but it's frustrating. I get it. I do. I just pray about it all the time. Sorry, Janine. She said her son was using math and turned into someone she didn't know. He had three entities attached to him, and then he committed suicide. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Janine. You keep praying for your son's soul. I'm so sorry. That evil stuff, yeah, it'll attach to people just like that with that drugs. Thanks, Heidi. So I'm going to talk to you guys really quick about, remember that reading I did last March and I posted it on my page? Okay. So when I don't do a lot of future readings like that. I try to stay away from it. I do. I don't mess with any of that stuff, unless spirit's pushing me and saying, you know what, you need to you need to say something. So that was another one of those times where I had spirit telling me what was going on, and it kind of really got to me because I go back, and that's why I posted it back on my page. It was like that happened in March, right when the coronavirus started barely peeking its head and started spreading. And now, but there was a lot of hope in that reading. If you remember, it said that there's going to be, either a cure or a vaccination. And then it said that it didn't get, you didn't get it from eating from bats. You got it from that lab, and they're from I can't remember the name, Wu something, that the town in China, and that it either escaped or, but my reading told me that that was intentional, that it was, what do you call it? Biological, terrorism. And that's what it feels like. It keeps people scared. It keeps us in our house. We can't do the things we like. And I know people will disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm just a messenger. But but we can't be afraid, at the same time. But we got to be safe, and we got to wear precautions so we don't get it. And it affects people differently in different ways. Some people, months later after it went away, it still affects internal organs in them, and it's not a good. I mean, this virus is not a good virus. It's man-made. They did genetic. They were messing with it and just caused havoc. Um, but it's gonna go away. But I don't. It's not gonna be like it was before. And you just gotta keep praying about it. I hate it too. I'm with everybody else. I miss my whole life. I miss doing what I used to do. But just it's gonna be okay. I do too. I ask God mercy on us too all the time about it. It is a form of chemical warfare. It's a It's a chemical war, biological terrorism is what it is. And it's affecting people, with mental illness, it's affecting people in so many different ways. It's not just the virus. You see the stuff on the internet all the time, all the evil, the bad stuff that keeps happening. You go on the Facebook, and every day there's somebody, is either a police getting shot or murdered, or somebody else getting their house burnt down, or some black person getting hurt by another police officer. It never ends, and I just wish it would. It's like it's got to stop. We can't keep living that vibration out there, that negativity and blaming. We got to just got to fix it. It's a sad thing. I feel like this world's got a big owie, and it's got to get a bandage on it and heal itself now. And then, we're these fires that that this bad weather patterns. It sucks, and it's sad. Um, Everybody has different ideas on it. Everybody's got different theories on it, and I'm cool with that. But yesterday, some lady on my page, she went all back crazy on me about her theory, and I don't know. And I gave her a chance. I said, you don't need to be negative on this page. Just stop. Well, she just did it again, and I just had to get rid of her. I'm like, I'm not here. That page wasn't created to be political. It wasn't made to be debating. You guys, that people can do that on their own page. I'm just doing it as I'm just a messenger. Um, I know people don't believe in that, and they do. I don't know, but all we can do is pray for each other in either way and make things better. There's so much sickness in this world. And I'm saying sickness. I'm talking about racism. I'm talking about anger. I'm talking about narcissism. I'm talking about blaming everything. There's nobody to blame. Everybody's to blame on this. I believe everybody's the world's to blame on this one, not just one person. I mean, it just goes. It just keeps going. That's just. It's just frustrating. It's funny, Ellen. I prefer sauce over gravy. Gravy you put on potatoes. I've always believed that since I was a kid. Yeah, some people do like to argue, and that's just fine. But I'm not. I don't want to feed into that when they're like that. So Dana, if your mom wanted to be buried, and you couldn't afford it, and you had a cremator, I guarantee you she'd have been okay with that. Maybe if there's a way you can find a way to get her buried somewhere with her ashes, that's probably what she would want. So I'm gonna say, what about positive subliminal sleep music on YouTube to help me sleep at night, quitting smoking? That'd be awesome, Elma. But before you do that, before you go into meditation, you always want to protect yourself because you're when we're going through meditation, we're open. We have our chakras are open, and chakras are portals. Each chakra that we have is a portal, and we want to make sure that when we're before we go into meditation, we protect ourselves. Before you ever do yoga, you want to protect yourself. I've been many times where I've had people come to me, and they didn't do anything wrong. They were just saying I was meditating or I was doing yoga, and something attached to me or something evil's on me, and that's what usually happens because they didn't. Nobody ever teaches them. If you're going to do yoga, you should learn to meditate. You should always protect yourself. Marjorie, if people can cross over if they're cremated, their soul is not your soul is not connected to your body in either way. When your body dies, there's a cord between you and your soul, and it snaps. So you're not connected with them after that. Hi, Jedzia. So it's okay to be either cremated or buried. I get that from spirits. I don't think they care. So, there's different ways to protect yourself. If you believe in God, I just pray and ask God to protect yourself before you go into meditation. Also, I do that, and what I personally do is I imagine, or what I'll say is, for me, I'll say, Holy Spirit, can you please put your white light in and around me for protection? And I always imagine the Holy Spirit right here, and I imagine the white light slowly coming down, and I take my time with it all the way down my body, my front, my back. Take your time with it until it goes all the way down to the bottom of your feet, and then really quick, I bring it back up one more time just to make sure I'm protected. I try to do that every day. That's how I do it. Everybody's different and how they protect themselves. So you can whatever feels comfortable with you, but make sure it's of the light and just pray if you believe in God. It helps. What if your astrological sign is the same as your chakra? I'm a Taurus, but ruled by my throat. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not into astrology as much, but um, if your astrology sign is connected with your throat, I would say probably treat your throat really good. Um, Try not to get sick or like a lot of. I mean, if that's your astrological sign, that's one of your biggest portals right there. Just try to take care of it. I mean, if you have something to say it. Don't hold it in. If you do, you're always gonna have that lump in your throat. Marjorie, I would say pray before yoga as well. Yeah, protection. Because like I said, we always keep our portals open. That's when people say you're open when you're doing that. That means your portals are open. Hi, Marianne. I hope everything's good at you at the Children's Hospital. Yes, holy water works very good. I wear a cross around my neck all the time. I just do that for my own personal protection. So Mary Ann's making a good question. I mean, good point right there. She goes, "What does it mean when you're falling asleep and you hear conversations?" And that had that happen to me many, many times. That's that part of when you're in that half sleep state and a half awake state. And I can't remember what the word is for it, but you all know what I'm talking about. I've had that happen to me, and I've had where I've had two or three different people talking at once, and it's another language, but it's like, and I'm listening, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I've heard slamming at that point where I'm like in that part of that, and I like door slam, and I'll jump right out of my skin. There's been times where I'll be laying in bed, and my two dogs are at the bottom of my feet, and all of a sudden I hear my little dog barking like he heard something, and I'll wake up. So I know what you're talking about. I think that has something to do with when I believe is when the soul either starts leaving your body or comes back into your body. Sometimes when we're asleep, our body travels around, and sometimes it'll pick up. Like for instance, my dog that was barking, that would be more of like an energy that was left in that room, if that makes sense, an old energy, and that's probably something I picked up. Thanks, Janine. You're welcome, Ellen. Sherry, a lot of times when I connect with somebody, a loved one, they'll ask their spirit. I mean, the reader will ask their loved one, "Is it okay if what I did with your ashes, 'cause I couldn't bury you, or is it okay that I put your ashes here or there?" A lot of times, the spirit says it doesn't matter because I'm up here. As long as you did what you needed to do, so you can be okay with who you are, that's all they mattered. They didn't care a lot of times what they did with them. As long as you're respectful with their ashes, I think that's all that matters. Hi, Chanel. Dreams do have some meanings. Some dreams have meanings. Some will tell you that some will warn you of something. Some dreams have something to do with your subconscious. Some dreams have are just because of visits coming through. There's different reasons why different dreams, different things happen. Well, that's interesting. Melanie said, "Have you ever heard of ghost knots before? A spirit playing with your hair when you're sleeping?" I never heard that before, but that doesn't surprise me if that does happen. What what about calling? Let's see. What about being called anytime by a voice of someone you know, then check in and find they were thinking of thinking of. or you needed. I'm not sure what that means. I think what you're trying to say, Mary, is what I'm assuming it's like, what do you think of when a spirit calls your name in their voice? I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused on that. I don't know. The spelling's different. I'm sorry, Marianne. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Janine's asking, do I ever have a medium do readings for me ever? There's a good medium I used to connect to in Denver, and I haven't connected with her in a while, but she was very accurate, very good. Um, yeah, and there's my teacher in town. She's a medium. I'll go to her because I trust her. There's not a lot of people. There's only a handful of people in my area that I trust, and I do connect with them sometimes. I do. All right, thanks, Ellen. Take care. All the time, Shirley, I have felt something connected to something, and just like what I was talking earlier with those pyramids that I picked up over at the Goodwill store, yeah, and I don't know why. I didn't know why I was connected to them, but then I realized later on what it was. Um, Usually happens something with old stuff is when I'm connected with it. And sometimes I'm curious and I'll touch it, and then I'll close my eyes and see what I pick up on it. Sometimes it will tell me a story about it. That's sometimes that's what you mean. But yeah, I have felt stuff that I didn't know I was connected with. Marjorie's saying, "Can I visit with my parents?" My mom, I have, and it's very emotional. I'm not ready yet. I'm like everybody else. I think you have to be ready to get to have a reading with somebody. I wasn't. I'm still not ready. My mom's been dead probably over 12 years, 11 years now. I'm not ready yet. She does visit me. She finds ways of letting me. She knows she's around. I do have a little conversation with her, but I'm not ready to do like a full reading like I do with regular people yet. And my family knows that too. I'm not ready to do that kind of reading with my mom, with my brother, and my sister. If they never asked me, but because the only reason is because I'm going to be really emotional, do it during the time, and they know that they know my mom, and I know my mom that way, so they're gonna. I'm always afraid that they're going to assume that I'm going to be making it up when I'm not. So I always just refer them to somebody else. It's easier that way for me. Elma's asking why did I ever find out Elma's asking why did I find out Facebook blocked me for 2 weeks? It was longer than 2 weeks. I think it was like almost a month and a half. Um, I just think what happened, Elma. No, they never did tell me. All I could think of was that during that time, I hurt somebody's feelings when I kicked them off my page, and they made a big thing about it. Well, those people on Facebook never really go and see what's going on. There's no place for me to call or no place for me to say it's my part. That's what was frustrating about it. So I had to wait. Facebook needs to get their stuff together because it's just not, I've heard that from a lot of people that, people are getting banned over some stupid stuff that shouldn't be banned about, just dumb stuff. But yeah, I got over it though. That's why I have YouTube. So if something like that happens again, I can always do live readings on YouTube, also for that. So Samantha keeps having a dream that she keeps getting trapped in a fire, and it happens again and again. I would say, Samantha, that is a past life regression dream that you're having. That means if your past one of your past lives, your spirit's mind is remembering it. That's what's going on. I've had those dreams quite a bit, especially when I was younger. So when your Prisou says, when your family passes, do they realize the truth that was going on if they were hidden from life from on life? I believe so. I think that all truth is shown itself in heaven. And then we learn to forgive. We don't hold on to anything. Thanks, Joyce. Everybody's different. Some people prefer me on YouTube. Some people prefer me on Facebook. So Mary Ann, you might be connecting with a loved one. That's a loved one from the other side speaking to you, I'm assuming. If you're hearing a voice that's whispering to you or talking to you in your ear, that's the earthbound spirit. If they're talking to you in your head like that, I would probably say that's probably somebody that's on the other side. I agree, Alma. It sucked. So Vaughn said I had a dream where I drove off a raised highway and time slowed down as if I was falling. Vaughn, that's so crazy. Um, I believe that was a past life regression dream you had. And it was probably either an accident or you were trying to commit suicide. But the funny thing about that is, I've had real life instances where I remember one time I was at my friend's house and I was in high school. Well, they had this plywood on the floor, and I remember I was wearing boots, and me and my friend, he was lived on the ranch, and I went to back up, and I don't remember why I backed up, but I backed up, and I slipped on that plywood, and I fell all the way down to the basement and landed on my back. Now, I remember at the time when I fell, I remember looking up, and I remember it was so emotional. It was like, and it was like I was like watching a movie. Um, so I believe that what happened to you is exactly what happened to your past. I don't, and it's so crazy because when you said that, that's what that reminded me of that time with me. Do I believe our souls had past lives? Absolutely. That's because some of us have to keep coming back here because we didn't learn our lessons because we keep going back and not figuring it out. We keep going, same bad relationships, the same mistakes we haven't learned. And we're supposed to learn. I mean, I think God gives us a chance to fix them before we get to heaven. Yes, your family waits for you in heaven for a while, and God eventually, if you have to get reincarnated, He'll bring you back down. But it's up to It's His timing, His perfect timing. I don't know when that is, but when we die, and if we have to get reincarnated, we do stay in heaven with our family for an amount of time, and then eventually, if we have to come back, He brings us back down. So Janine's asking, is there a way to find out about our life's path so we could learn what we're supposed to do in this life? I do. Janine, I mean, I have done past life readings before. I'm not, I don't know if that's where my path is at. I usually do more medium readings because I know I'm a medium. If you can find a good medium that does past lives, I would probably say go for that and work with that person, and that will help you quite a bit. And I've I got curious one time. I went and connected with my spirit guide and I said, "How many past lives have I had?" And it said I had over 400. And I guess I wasn't learning my lessons in each life, but I was curious and I said, "What did I do?" And it was going through all these jobs and titles I did, and my hand got tired and I didn't want to listen to it anymore. I'm like, I was a carpenter, I was a painter, I was this, I was that, and I'm like, I must have done almost every job in the book. But I don't know what maybe this is, but I'm also a Pisces. So my friend told me, and the astrological sign, I think it starts with Aries and it ends with Pisces. So when you get reincarnated, you go through all these signs until you end. The last one was the Pisces. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I have this gift. It could be a lot of things. I did a lot of stuff, Marianne, and I don't. It just frustrated. My hand was getting sore when I was doing that, and I just got bored listening to it. I'm like, all right, that's good. Marjorie, I don't know exactly if we get a choice to come back down or we stay in heaven. Maybe we do. I don't know that yet. I don't know God's plans for each one of us. Like I tell people many times, I'll never answer for God because I don't know His ways. I just messenger. Sometimes requests if she's saying sometimes she had a whole lot of worry and anxiety in her life. It's been going on since she can remember, fifth grade, 49 years ago. Could that be from a past life tragedy? Absolutely. That's why sometimes some people need to go and get their past lives worked out somehow and figure out what they need to do, what was going on. Sometimes our spirits hold that energy, that scar, and it sticks with us. Here's a story. I think I've said this before on one of my pages. The story of when I was a little boy and 8 or 9 years old living in Great Falls, Montana, and we were living in this duplex. I was outside and I was drawing on the cement with my chalk, and I was drawing swastika signs. And at that time, I didn't know what that meant because we never even had cable. So, I mean, when you're that young, you don't have history books to teach you about World War II. They don't do that until later on. So I remember my mom would get mad at me, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. And it was almost like was it a cuss word? I don't understand. I was confused because I didn't know. So as junior high came along, it was either in the seventh or eighth grade. I was flipping through my history book, and I stopped, and my heart started racing because what I saw there was these men in uniform with the swastikas band. What I saw when I was a kid on their arm. And I was fascinated. I had to know everything about World War II. Why? What was going on with this? Why was I dreaming this? And this dream kept coming to me all the time. Well, in this dream, it was so real to me. There was a nun. I was sitting, like there was a dresser. I was a little boy and I was crouched down, sitting on this neck, up against the dresser, and there's another little boy there. Well, then I see this young officer with a gun like this, and he goes boom. He shoots the kid next to me, and I don't know if it was a brother in my dream. I don't know, but then I didn't look, but he pointed at me, and I woke up. So I heard the boom, and I woke up. To me, that was a past life, it was my soul's way of dealing with it or something. But it made sense to me the more I learned about it, and then when I got older, and it didn't bother me because I think now I understand it now why what happened to me back then. Heidi, I don't know when my book is coming out. I got to figure out how to write a book first of all. I've got lots of ideas though. I can't wait to do it though. Oh, I see what you're saying, Marianne. Somebody's probably connecting to you. That's called telepathy. That means somebody was connecting to you through your brain. It's like from brain to brain. That's usually happens with somebody usually with your spouse, with your kids or twins usually have it. That's what usually telepathy is. I mean they go right through your head like that and they can talk to you that way, especially if it's something urgent. That's what happens. And I wonder if it was somebody that was really close to you, like a loved one. Deja vu is usually a psychic phenomenon. I mean, it's people that really, I mean, they're just psychic abilities. Love attraction, Vaughn, is who we are. I mean, for instance, if you're going to be a negative person and you're a warrior, and you're just mean to everybody all the time, you're going to have bad luck. You're putting that bad luck on yourself. Like attracts like. We see this every day on the internet. In politics, some people you realize their personalities or what they like are going to be attracted to the person in politics. Does that make sense? You see that with, people and groups of friends too. Everything attracts like. If you're a good person, you're. That was weird. I got disconnected. Sorry about that. But I'm back. So anyway, if you're a good-hearted person and you're doing good for other people, you're helping yourself. You can control your worries, and help other people. You're gonna notice that good things are gonna come to you. You're doing things you're doing things. Even the Bible kind of talks about that stuff. What we sow is what we reap. Let's see. I don't know if I believe in spells. I think they do work. Some people don't believe in them. But what's also, if you think about it, is what we put out. We give it that energy. Maybe some people work with evil spirits to put spells on people too. So it's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm cutting out. I don't know. Maybe I need to get off here soon because I've been here over an hour. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for showing up tonight. I mean today to let me do. I'll try to do this once a week if I can, just to give you guys a heads up if people have any questions or whatever. We'll see what happens. You guys, if you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe down below. There's a subscribe button. That way you get notified when I'm live again. I appreciate it. And you guys, I'll see you this Sunday when it's live on here. I'll see you Sunday live on my Facebook, so you'll know where to find me. All right, you guys take care. Appreciate it. Let's see.